it's a little bit misleading in the sense of what areas the government controlled, because there were these areas in the south where officially they were under the government's control, but in effect the Assad regime had kind of left these regions in the hands of local groups and local militias. And as soon as the wind kind of changed, these guys just ousted what kind of symbolic Assad control that there was, and basically joined into this opposition. Now you mentioned the Druze. Can you talk a little bit perhaps about what's going on there at the moment with the Israeli advance from the Golan Heights? You've seen a lot of Israeli propaganda out there saying that Druze are calling for their region to be annexed by Israel, etc., etc., which I think people are very keen to dismiss 100%, because I'm sure there is an element within the Jewish community that might, especially given the ideological outlook of the new regime, that might actually prefer some kind of Israeli control. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically in the south, you have two main areas of Druze population, demographics, whatever. You have Asweda, or under the French mandate, it was Jebel al-Arab, Arab mountain. That's almost entirely, that's its own province, almost entirely Druze, to my knowledge. Also, I should say that the north is really what I focus on. So I know a bit about the south, but I might make a slight error here or there. But then you also have Druze villages that are in what's left of the Quneitra province, which is commonly referred to in English Golan Heights. The majority of it was occupied by Israel in 67. So the Druze population is smaller, and it's also interspersed with various Sunni villages. It's, I think, to my knowledge, village to village. So the Israeli occupation, or the expanded Israeli occupation that's happened since the fall of the regime, that has occurred in this area on the border where you have the smaller Druze population, whereas Sweda is not actually geographically contiguous with these areas. You have Deraa in between Sweda. So that, I think that's important to clarify. But in terms of the Druze position on the Israeli occupation, yes, obviously Israel loves pumping out this sort of propaganda about how it's a magnet for minorities in the region, which is oftentimes not true. But I mean, it is complicated. There are elements within Druze society within Syria that are more open to it, or that really, at this point, don't care about. They're more concerned with their day-to-day life, and they are afraid that HTS is going to impose, stringent Sunni Islamic governance upon the province. So that's an area of concern. But, you should also point out that in the Golan Heights, the Druze there, you kind of have to distinguish between the Druze that are in the 48 boundaries of Israel and then in the occupied Golan Heights. And a lot of the ones in the occupied Golan Heights have never taken Israeli citizenship. So overall, the Druze orientation towards Arab nationalism, towards the Palestinian cause, towards Israel is complicated. And